You all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. We have 3 public hearings to start the agenda for tonight. Would you like to, Jamie, read the first notice?
Yes. Public notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York will hold a public hearing in consideration of contracting with the Putnam Lake Fire Department to provide fire protection, rescue, and first aid services, collectively referred to herein as fire protection services, in all or a portion of the Patterson Fire Protection District as shown on the fire map filed in the office of the Putnam County Clerk as filed map number 793. Said public hearing will be held at the Patterson Town Hall, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on December 28, 2022 at 7 o'clock p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested herein shall be heard. For such services, the Putnam Lake Fire Department shall receive the yearly sum of $471,000. The contract shall run for 1 year from January 1, 2023, and shall expire on December 31, 2023. A copy of the proposed contract may be obtained from the town clerk at the address below. The town board will make every effort to ensure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk.
I would ask that any member of the audience who has any comments or questions on the contract, if you would approach the mic and give your name and address for the record. Hearing none, we'll turn to those joining us by Zoom tonight. Does any member of the public who is joining us by Zoom have any comments or questions on the Putnam Lake Fire Department contract? If you would unmute and state your name and address for the record. Where's the original? Is that the original? Oh, you guys want to sign it?
Just when you announce it again, there's a few people that are not using them.
Take one, pass it down.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second. Assuming no town board member has any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Counselor, you're on.
Public notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York will hold a public hearing in consideration of contracting with the Patterson Fire Department Number 1 to provide fire protection, rescue, and first aid services, collectively referred to herein as fire protection services, in all or a portion of the Patterson Fire Protection District as shown on the fire map filed in the office of the Putnam County Clerk as filed map number 793. Said public hearing will be held at the Patterson Town Hall, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on December 28, 2022 at 7 o'clock p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard. For such services, the Patterson Fire Department Number 1 shall receive the yearly sum of $912,800. The contract shall run for 1 year from January 1, 2023, and shall expire on December 31, 2023. A copy of the proposed contract may be obtained from the town clerk at the address below. The town board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk.
Again, I would ask that if there's any member of the public who has any comments on the Patterson Fire Department contract, if you would approach the mic, state your name and address for the record. Hearing none, I will turn to the members joining us by Zoom. If there's any member of the audience joining us by Zoom, if you would unmute and state your name and address for the record and ask your question. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Counselor number 3.
Public notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York on December 14, 2022, amendment to Patterson Town Code Chapter 150 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, which amendment will amend Section 150-12, Parking Prohibited at All Times, to prohibit vehicle parking on both sides of Fields Corners Road. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law, the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York will hold a public hearing on the aforesaid amendments at the Town Offices, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on December 28, 2022, at 7:00 p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard. The Town Board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk.
All right, one more time, I will ask anybody joining us here tonight if they have any questions on this local law. You would approach the mic. Hearing none, we'll turn to the members who are of the public who are joining us by Zoom. If any member of the public joining us by Zoom has any comments or questions on this local law regarding the amendments to the vehicle and traffic law, if you would unmute, provide your name and address for the record, ask your question. Does any town board member have any questions or comments? Entertain a motion to adjourn, to close the public hearing? Yeah, no, listen, I'm ready.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You would have beat Mike Griffin's record by quite a bit.
Yeah, not tonight. Okay, would somebody like to audit some bills?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 23, dated December 16th, 2022, in the amount of $282,244.16. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I believe we have one or two budget transfers.
I was thinking of Sean. Let's see. Budget transfer request number 38. Following budget transfer is necessary to reallocate funds for the highway, hospital and medical insurance account for necessary expenses. Moving $500 from unemployment insurance expense accounts to hospital and medical insurance expense accounts, $500. I'll make a motion. Town Board approve. Transfer request number 38. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Transfer request number 39. Following request, budget transfer is necessary to reallocate funds for the sanitation department requested hydraulic hose, crimper, and supplies and utilities account. We'll be moving $4,175 from sanitation contractual and $2,000 from sanitation transfer charges expense accounts to sanitation equipment and capital outlay, $4,175, and sanitation utilities, $2,000. Make a motion to approve budget request number 39. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Following number 40, following budget transfer is necessary to reallocate funds for the recreation center contractual and utilities account for approved repairs and increased costs. We'll be moving $6,500 from recreation center equipment and capital outlay expense account to recreation center contractual, $5,000, and recreation center utilities expense accounts, $1,500. Make a motion to approve budget transfer request number 40. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 41, following budget transfer is necessary to reallocate funds for the ambulance contractual account for increased costs and federal HRSA expenses. We'll be moving $13,000 from ambulance $3,000 from ambulance training and $13,684.15 to from appropriated fund balance HRSA funds expense and fund balance accounts to $3,000 to the ambulance contractual, and $13,684.15 to ambulance contractual HRSA funds expense accounts. I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget adjustment request number 41. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Budget adjustment request number 42. Following budget transfer is necessary to allocate additional funds for the street lighting contractual accounts for increased utility costs. We'll be moving $2,750 from the appropriated fund balance and $5,000 from appropriated fund balance expense and fund balance accounts to $2,750 to the street lighting contractual and $5,000 to street lighting contractual expense accounts. I'll make a motion the town board approve budget request number 42. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I get overtime for this? Let's see, budget request number 43. Following budget transfer is necessary to allocate additional funds for the source of power contractual accounts for increased utility costs. Boy, I don't know this one. Move $1,500 from appropriated fund balance. Move $1,100 from appropriated fund balance. It's two different account numbers. And $2,000 from administration, equipment, and capital outlay expense and fund balance accounts. Moving $1,500 to source of power contractual, $1,100 to source of power contractual, again, two different, wait a minute,
Yeah, two different accounts.
same account.
No, the first couple letters, SW.
Oh, that's right.
SWD.
Good catch, good catch. Good catch, Sonny. We're also gonna move $1,000 from administration contractual, and it's $1,000 from source of power contractual expense accounts. I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget adjustment request number 43. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have budget adjustment request number 44, and that is necessary to allocate additional funds for the wastewater treatment plant equipment and capital outlay account from restricted interest. So we will be moving $31 from the wastewater treatment interest account, expense and fund balance accounts adding $31 to special services wastewater treatment plant capital improvement expense accounts. I'll make a motion the town board approve budget request number 44. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. We have number budget request number 45. The budget transfer is necessary to allocate additional funds for the sewer district sewage treatment utilities account for increased utility costs. So we'll be moving $5,000 from the sewage treatment disposal, equipment and capital outlet expense and fund balance accounts, $5,000, to sewage treatment utilities expense accounts, $5,000. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget request number 45. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Keep it going.
Ha! All right. Next, we have a resolution to reduce bond recommendations as we've received from the planning board and our town engineer relative to tax map number 24-2-8 and 24-2-7. And it's revising the amounts in a performance bond to $79,828 and the inspection fee to $14,800. So we have a resolution. I'll make a motion that the town board approve the resolution on what I've just said and enter it into the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have from our highway department, looking to get the approval on selling highway equipment and vehicles. And that encompasses 2011 Chevy Silverado for $18,900, 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $910, Woodmaster 6500 outdoor wood stove, $4,500, 4 valves from number 44 tank truck, $11, and Motorola phone system, $77.50, and Cummins 5.9L motor for $1,575. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the sale of this equipment and introduce the resolution we have in front of us into the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other business, Charles?
No, I'm going home.
Sean, you're up.
All right, Charles, you were in fine speaking voice.
Aye,
So
thank you.
you did.
Aye, thank you.
Next item, we have a request from our Planning and Zoning Department for a reimbursement of fees. Essentially, the property at 10 Inwood Place needed 2 building permits for existing pool with an attached deck and a pool house above the deck. The interpretation was that because they needed 2 building permits, they also needed 2 variances from the ZBA. Once the ZBA had reviewed the cases and done a review of whether or not it was an individual application or joint, they deemed it was an individual application, thereby requesting that we refund one of the fees paid to the zoning and planning office. So based upon all their recommendations and the write-ups that we've received, I'll make a motion that we give a $100 refund for the second area variance to the applicant at 10 Inwood Place in the town of Patterson, Marcel Carrillo. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Secondly, I just want to say, and hopefully we have a fan that watches our YouTube channel in my nephew, Nicky. I want to say, hi, Nicky. And that's going to make his day.
Hi, Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
Go,
Hello,
Nikki.
Nikki.
It takes little things to make people smile, so.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just going to read this. Year-end resolution, be it resolved that all bills audited by the town board of the town of Patterson be paid and authorization be given for bills and encumbrances that might arise through December 31st, 2022. Be it further resolved that all transfers be automatically approved by the town board, subject to their review at the new town board meeting. Budget transfers as of December 31st, 2022 are to be attached in the minute book. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, second piece of business I have on my agenda is to provide to the town board, I am not moving this tonight, this is just for your review so that you can start digesting this. After many years, the state legislature actually increased the thresholds, the economic thresholds for seniors receiving a reduction in their taxes and for people with disabilities. So I wanted to provide this, get this ready. It's a little complex. I wanted to give it to the board so you could digest it, and we will be talking about it at the next meeting. I also want to add in really quick that we learned today, there were 2 other bills that were pending before the governor. One of them had to do with the treatment of assessments for condominiums that was not favorable. It was not, a fair means to assess condos, and many people around the state voiced their support for the bill, and the governor was kind enough today to veto that. The other one was a bill that is requiring a redundant notification of all people in the town. It's probably going to run the town of Patterson between $25,000 and $3,000. to provide this redundant notification about senior exemptions, and the governor was nice enough to sign that. So God bless Governor Hochul.
Now, just one question, Rich. The states here we were going to have a public hearing in January on this?
Yes, but we're not gonna, I want to discuss it with the board. Before we do that, I will move this, if the board finds it favorably, at the January 11th meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll set the public hearing for the second meeting in January.
Okay.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Mary?
Yes, I have a release of performance bond in reference to tax map number 25.63-1-39. There is certain driveway improvements requiring the posting for 2 cash performance bonds to ensure their completion in the amount of $5,280 and $3,136. These improvements are secured by the performance bond and have now been completed as certified by the Highway Department and the Planning Department. So therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Patterson hereby releases the performance bond submitted by such residents. So I'll make a motion to enter this into the record as read and release the performance bond. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Peter?
First I have, we just had our public hearing on Chapter 150, Local Law 153, Part 3, Vehicle and Traffic. So we had discussed this last meeting about adding Fields Corners Road to the list of roads which will not allow parking at any time. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution and enter it into the record as read, stating this. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I have 2 EMS requests for new hires. Myself and Bobby Kearns interviewed a couple EMTs last week, and we had 2 actually great candidates. So I'd like to make a motion to approve. I have a resolution to approve the hire of Walter Hu III as a part-time emergency medical technician at the rate of $20.25 per hour, effective December 27th, 2022, on a temporary basis, pending his completion of all civil service requirements. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution and enter the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution to hire Michael Grisbin as part-time emergency medical technician at the rate of $20.25 per hour, effective December 28th, 2022, on a temporary basis, pending his completion of all civil service requirements. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is all I have.
All right, other business. Excuse me?
No, I'm talking to myself.
Jamie, you had sent down late today a proposed settlement for Marco Industries. You want to brief the board?
Yeah, sure. So as the board's been aware for some time, there's been litigation pending concerning Marco Industries and Flavio La Rocca regarding the property on Route 22. There was previously, so there was issues with the site plan that had expired and the use of the property as how the property was being used. We believed it was being used as a contractor's yard. The town had initiated litigation in 2019 in order to get an injunction. And then subsequently, the ZBA had made some determinations on the matter, and there was an Article 78 filed by the owners of the property that the town was successful in. Then there was a notice of appeal filed on that Article 78, an appeal that hasn't been perfected. In the meantime, there was also proceedings in the Justice Court on the violations. So at this point in time, the property has been brought to standards. It has been stabilized. We don't believe it's being used as a contractor's yard, and this stipulation of settlement would essentially discontinue the actions with the understanding that it cannot be used as a contractor's yard and all laws have to be complied with, and would end any kind of appeal that the defendants would be filing on the Article 78. So this would just put a final end to all the actions that have been pending on this matter since the property's been stabilized.
Jamie, what happens if 6 months from now they go back and just start doing the same thing that happened? They use it as a contractor's yard?
Well, they're not, then at that point in time, they'll be violating the
So we start
stipulation
all
of
over again,
settlement.
Go through the whole thing again?
Well, we could, we could bring an action on that stipulation of settlement, and we also have the same remedies. And at that point in time, we have our decision in the Article 78, and they wouldn't have the ability to appeal it at that point in time.
They can't say they didn't know.
Yes. Well, we wouldn't be in a situation where they can say, well, we're not using it as a contractor's yard if they're doing the exact same thing that resulted in the Article
Got it.
78.
Thank you.
Jamie, was there any indication what they would use the property for?
I believe that they intend to sell. That's what they've alluded to.
Okay.
We have an approved site plan for that site, so.
No, we do not.
We used to have an approved.
It
site plan.
expired.
Expired.
That was
one
part of the issues.
Oh, okay. So anyone buying it would be buying commercial property that would have to immediately go to the planning board for a site plan for whatever they propose to do.
Mhm.
Correct? So that, okay.
Yes. Yes, and of course, we'd like to see that property up and being used in an appropriate manner, but it does look, from a drive-by, substantially better than what was going on before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Agreed.
Great. Any other questions?
No.
All right, I'd like to move the resolution authorizing settlement of the Town of Patterson versus Marco Industries LLC and Flavio LaRocca. So, and ask that this resolution be entered in the record as though it was read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Unbeknownst to me, the town controller put through in 2022 a budget transfer for the request that we had all received from the highway, which I had put on for the next agenda. So,
For the hydraulic.
for the hydraulic.
Yeah.
I did have further conversations with one of the mechanics down there, and what they're looking to do is they are looking to give a little bit more independence to the sanitation, so that in the future, if everything decides to split up as it has in the past, you know, the sanitation department will be able to operate with their mechanic over there without having to run over to highway and be subject to the highway superintendent's whim. So that's really what they're looking to do. Anybody have any thoughts about this?
I mean, I support the purchase of the tool from an efficiency standpoint. It's making up hydraulic hoses and crimping the fittings, from what I understand, and it's just simple mechanical, you know, allowing people to have the tools they need to do their job. I'm not going to comment on the feeling of being separate from any future highway, you know, that I think is less important to me than the mechanics just having the ability to do their job. So from that perspective, I would support their request.
Agreed.
Especially since we just approved the budget transfer.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to authorize the highway to expend $2,675 for a hydraulic hose crimper and $1,500 for fitting stock.
Makes sense. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the last piece of business I have is, we received notice this week. I responded back, the needles haven't started coming off my tree yet, but the Town of Patterson Christmas tree pickup will be this January, oh, they moved it, 12th and Friday, January 13th.
Thursday.
Anybody putting their Christmas tree out by the curb, those are the 2 days highway will be around to pick them up. Yeah. All right, any other board member have any other business?
I just have one thing.
Yes.
Thank you for sending out the security assessment report from
Yes.
the Department of Homeland Security. I just had a question for our colleagues that are on the safety committee or the chair. Does the safety committee have plans to review that report and to take any action on the requested, look at the vulnerabilities and the requested actions from the report?
I mean, I think it's obviously a great idea. We have the report. It sounds like from all input that you gentlemen had, that the gentleman did a very thorough job. And I think it's incumbent upon us to review it and then take the suggestions, discuss them, and bring them back to the town board for an action. Now, the one, though, is the library. we can review it, but we don't have any
have-
oversight
no,
on
we
it,
have
so.
nothing.
I think that was just for our information.
Yeah, but for the, but I think there's lessons learned, like anybody, you read something going on in one area, it usually applies to other buildings and other vulnerabilities, so, speaking personally, I think, it's incumbent upon the safety committee to review these and see what the reports say and go from there.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I do want to chime in, not on the safety committee. The report for town hall made a few recommendations. One was the fence off the back. I'm not crazy about that, but the other one was to provide additional lighting and cameras back there, and we are looking into that.
Let the safety committee know so they can incorporate that into their
I think they know
comments.
now.
We know now.
It also mentioned that we have a good plan, emergency plan, but it also says that the employees would get training on it and drilling on it.
Yeah.
That I will leave to the safety committee. I do want to let the board know that I have been working with the chief over in the Putnam Lake Fire Department, and they have been using this building as well as Patterson Fire Department, who are participating with them for doing active shooter training in this building.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good, very good.
So,
Like to get
fire
that.
departments are getting a first-hand look at this building in a very active way.
I think it also mentioned inviting in law enforcement, maybe state police, maybe the barracks commander and someone from the sheriff's office, or multiple people from the sheriff's office to get a layout of our facilities.
We certainly can reach out to the sheriff and state troopers and see. I will tell you this, I have been through the building with some of the sheriffs, especially those on the day watch and the night watch. Because there will be times we will get the alarm and, we'll do walkthroughs, so.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? I will open it up to public recognition. If any member of the public wishes to make any comments or ask any questions? Hearing none, we'll turn to our members of the public joining us by Zoom. If any member of the public joining us by Zoom has any comments or questions, if you would unmute, state your name and address for the record.
That he shouldn't speak up. Because he doesn't understand.
Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.